Are you feeling bullpup curious? Well, obviously I was. And to indulge our mutual curiosity, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Steyr AUG and the Springfield Hellion. So stay tuned.
It was a smoking gun. 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 It was a smoking It was a smoking gun. 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 It was a smoking gun.
All right, y'all. So I am a fan of bullpups. I have a full review on the Springfield Hellion, which is mine, and it's called Tactical Intimacy. In that video, I talk about what the bullpup experience is like in general and why I do like it and why I think the Hellion is a really good example of that, and I really enjoy shooting the Hellion. So a local viewer offered to loan me some guns, and one of the guns he loaned me to review and feature is the Steyr AUG. And this is obviously the original. It originated in the 70s, I think. I want to say it was 1977, which I think was the same year Star Wars came out, so perhaps that's apropos, given its sci-fi appearance. If you know anything about bullpups and you're into bullpups, you're interested in bullpups, obviously the Steyr AUG is kind of the definitive bullpup, and I was thrilled to get a chance to try it. And you know, considering that I do like the idea of the bullpup experience, which to me is defined most by the more rearward weight distribution of the rifle. With the receiver and the bolt and the heavy moving parts all being shifted back, the thing just sits into your body, in my opinion, better. It balances better, and it has a distinct feel in terms of how it handles compared to standard rifles where the weight is out in front. And you know, again, I did talk about that quite a bit in my my Hellion review. With that in mind as kind of the primary lens through which we're going to talk about these rifles, and specifically bullpups, I think it's interesting because the weight distribution is very different on these guns. And you know, it's obviously both have a more rearward weight distribution than a standard rifle, but it's interesting. The AUG is definitely more balanced overall. It has more of a sense of equilibrium to it. You know, as you shoulder the gun, it just feels kind of static in terms of its weight distribution, whereas the Hellion is quite a bit more back heavy. I mean, it's like literally back heavy. Like it will tip back into you. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because it just, in some sense, it kind of does the work for you. It just settles into your shoulder, it just kind of stays there. And, you know, you don't have a whole lot of weight up here. And in that review, in my Hellion review, I talked about how you kind of handle and maneuver the thing with your body. It's a very, you know, bodily centric experience, and I compared it to like being in a pugilistic stance and a fighting stance, and that's very true, and I love that about the Hellion. But there's something to be said for just the sense of balance that you get with the AUG. It's just, like I said, it has this sense of equilibrium, and it still settles nicely into your body, and you've got this foregrip here. I actually preferred the Hellion without the foregrip for whatever reason. I just kind of nudged the heel of my hand against the trigger guard, and I preferred that setup with the Hellion. But the foregrip really, it kind of completes the experience, I think, with the AUG, and it kind of makes it what it is. And I would say I guess it just handles a little easier. It feels a little more effortless overall in terms of the overall handling experience. I'm not sure one's better or worse. You get, again, the more, I would say, intimate feel of the weight into your chest with the Hellion, which is cool, but overall I think this is just a more maneuverable experience altogether, all things considered. Another thing that surprised me was the shooting experience. So this was at 15 yards. The ones that are a little lower than point of aim are from the AUG. I didn't adjust the dot. It was shooting a little low for me. The ones that are right on the money are from the Hellion. I really enjoy shooting the Hellion. I shoot it well. I just have iron sights on this one. I was getting good accuracy from it. In spite of that, good groups at 15 yards, and it's a really good shooter. This one happens to have a custom job on the trigger. The trigger on this gun is absolutely phenomenal. It shoots really, really well, but the recoil impulse is very different on these guns, and they both have a short stroke piston driven system. It's not a long stroke piston like you get on an AK or the X95 Tavor or the original Tavor, whatever, TAR I think it was called. So they both have the same system ostensibly, but the feel is just different. This gun moves more. It's not a hard, punishing or unpleasant recoil impulse, but it just kind of moves a little more. Like it's not quite as much as an AK with a long stroke piston or even the X95. I would say the X95, of these three bullpups that I've tried, that moves the most in terms of the recoil impulse. But it's amazing how little the AUG moves when you shoot it. It stays really planted. I mean, the gun just seems to somehow absorb the... you still feel the force of the shot you're taking, but somehow it just creates less motion in the gun, and it's really nice. Like I said, the recoil isn't hard or unpleasant in the Hellion, and it might actually be a little softer, but the fact that this thing just moves so little, it shoots so flat, is really nice. And I guess if I had to, cite a preference for one or the other, I prefer the recoil impulse on this. It's just it makes shooting and maintaining your point of aim easier. It really does. And I will say that the trigger, bullpups often get a bad rap for having crappy triggers, and this one really is pretty crappy. I've got to say, it's the brake's okay. It's not terrible, but it's very heavy. It's just heavy, and there's a little take up. It kind of rolls into the brake. But even with the less good trigger on this, you know, with the ergos and the recoil impulse and just everything else, I didn't notice a big difference in accuracy with this thing. You know, the dot on this, I didn't mess with adjusting the dot or anything. It was shooting a little low, but when I compensated for it, I was getting pretty much the same groups, more or less, at intermediate distances that I was getting with my Hellion, which, you know, I have more trigger time on and everything like that. So at the end of the day, I guess I wasn't expecting as much of a difference in terms of the shooting and handling experience with both these guns. So I figured they were both bullpups, and you know, I guess I have shot an X95, and I would say the Hellion and the X95 are more similar than this. The handling experience with this and the shooting experience was distinct and unique and very positive. I really enjoyed shooting this gun. I really like my Hellion, and I was, you know, I thought, yeah, that's going to be my rifle, and it still kind of is, and probably will be for the foreseeable future, but I could definitely see an AUG in my future, and it's hard to say which, you know, if you ask me which one I like better, if I had to pick one over the other, it's a difficult say, and you know, honestly, like, I don't know. I might pick the AUG if I had to pick one or the other. In any case, I am just thrilled I get a chance to shoot guns like this and experience them and tell you guys about them. So thank you, Mark, for giving me the chance to do so. Again, this isn't a full review. I just wanted to provide some high-level thoughts and kind of provide an overview of my experience with both these guns because, you know, I think a lot of us are interested in bullpups, bullpup curious, and I hope this will be helpful to you if you are considering some bullpups, because you're probably considering these too. So thank you so much for watching. I'm Matt with Hipster Tactical, and I will talk to you later.